Hello. So in this video, I'm going to try and cover the fundamentals of adding an audio visualizer into a scene wallpaper. So it's not going to be as complex as an HTML visualizer. There's a lot more stuff you can do with that kind of coding. The scene, as far as I can tell, it's limited to 16 sound channels, and it's not entirely accurate, but it's pretty close, and you can get the visualizer bars if that's what you want. So this is what we're going to end up with, and if I start some music, we get the audio visualization bars. Ignore this one, it's not actually broken, I just changed something and didn't notice it. So I'm going to pause that, and we'll get started. So this is a new blank 2D scene wallpaper. I need two things, which I have here. This is a bar that I'm going to import. Do not adjust size, import. And we need a shake. So this shake, you don't actually need this file. This is just the color of a direct upwards motion. So you can do that by hand if you want to, and then just use the same shake. I'm going to use this shake image just for the sake of having it. I don't think I actually have to import it, but we don't need it as a layer anyways. I have this bar set up. Okay, where to start? This is a 1920 pixel wide wallpaper size, 1920. There are 16 sound channels, so 1920 divided by 16 is 120 pixels wide. That's the width of this. The origin point of the position of an object is directly in the center. So I'm going to position this, I swear I'm going somewhere with this. I'm going to position this at the bottom. The up and down doesn't really matter, just somewhere at the bottom. And then the X position, so it's 120 pixels wide, measured from halfway. So I'm going to make it 60 pixels from the X, which puts it exactly on the edge here. So this one's in position. We are going to have to reposition all of the other bars we're going to make later manually. But a lot of the stuff we have to do is stuff we can set up kind of automatically. So to set up one bar, I want to be able to change its color, change its opacity, and add the shake. So the first thing we're going to add is the shake itself. We're going to add audio responsive center. We're going to import our shake, or you would just draw your shake texture going up. And then the settings that matter, audio amount and strength, essentially both do the same thing. They both increase the amount that the bar is moved by the audio. So you can use a combination of both of these. The amounts that I find work for me, I'm going to set the audio amount to 15 and the strength to 0.15. This bounds, I don't think it does anything. I've been fiddling with this for a while and I can't figure out what it does. The audio bounds affects when the bar moves in relation to the sound. So if it's set to 0, if anything, I'll set the frequency. So this is set to monitor frequency 0, 0. If anything near frequency 0 happens, it will be triggered. So we want to just increase this a little bit so that it needs a more, it makes it so it has to be closer to the frequency. And then the Y value doesn't really matter. You can leave it as the default or just set it to 1. I'm going to set it to 1 just to have some consistency across the settings. So the frequency is the sound channels. There are 15 sound channels starting from 0, so there are actually 16. We need to make one individual bar that monitors each of the sound channels, and we can do that slightly faster by editing them later in Notepad, and I'll show you how to do that. But we're going to start with 0, 0, and we have the strength set up, the audio amount set up, the audio responsive set up, the shake is set up. So if I turn the music back on, in theory, the bar should start to move, and it does. Okay, pause the music again. Now I want to be able to change its color. So we're going to add a tint. We're going to color in here, go to the cog, bind user property, add a property, bar color. And then we're going to make, I'm just going to make the default white, doesn't matter, and then close. And I also want to change the alpha of the bar. So we're going to, again, go to your audio bar. At the bottom, the materials section, go to the alpha of the bar, cog, bind user property, bar alpha. Default value is 100% or 1. We do want fractions because we want to be able to go slide down. Minimum value is transparent 0, maximum value is solid 1. So that's it. You don't have to change any of those settings in there. I just want to turn those settings on for later. So now we have a bar that is audio responsive to one frequency. It is able to have its color changed, and it is able to go transparent. So that's all the settings I want. Now we have to duplicate it. So I'm actually going to rename this bar to 0 because it is monitoring the 0 channel, and then we have to start duplicating. So we have to duplicate and rename 16 different bars. I never said this was going to be easy. It's actually very tedious. So this is the point where you have to decide if you want your bars to go somewhere like in the center, in a circle. You can reposition them and put them wherever you want. For the sake of this demo, I'm just going to spread them out across the bottom. So in order to do that, you just have to reposition the X origin wherever you want them to be. So the first one is measured at 60, and then each one is 120 pixels wide, so you just add 120 to 60. So the second one is 180, and then 300, and then 420, and you just have to do this for all of them. I don't know of a automated way of spreading them out across the bottom. There could be, but I don't know how to do it, so we're doing it the slow way. 1020, 1140, 1260, and you only, well, if you do this and then save, once we have this project saved, we can save it as like a template, and then you can build new wallpapers from it. So really, you only have to do this once, but you do have to do it once. 1860, there. Now we have bars going all the way across the bottom. So if I turn our music back on, they should all react at the exact same time to the sound, because they're all monitoring the same sound channel. So now we have to fix that. And you could go into each one, and actually I'll do the first one just so we can get an idea. Go into the first layer, go into your shake, and then change the frequency from 0, 0 to 1, 1. Now you can set them to different things, and this will make them, like if you set it to 0, 3 maximum, 3, 0 minimum, this would trigger off any like bass sound. And that works, and if you do that, you'll get more of a wave, so it'll look like a smoother visualizer. I personally like the individual bars better, so each one of my 16 is going to be monitoring one channel. So bar number 1, we will change this to frequency of 1, 1. Now you could go through and do that to each of these, but that's kind of slow, and I prefer to do it this way. So now you want to file, save your project, and then go edit, open in Explorer, open the scene.json file, and Control F, frequency, FREQ. The first one is 0. Find the next one is 1. This is the one we set to 1. We want to copy these two lines and then find next. Oh, I did 2 also, so this is great. Find the next, find the next. Now we're into the third one, which was copied from the first one. So we want to replace frequency 0 with frequency 3, and then find next, frequency 4. And again, you have to do this for all of the frequencies. So you could do it by editing the shake settings themselves, but I find this is actually quite a bit faster once you know kind of how to do it. Assuming, of course, you don't screw it up. And that should be the last one. It is, because we are starting from 0. Okay, so we have all 15 of our bars set up. So now we save the JSON file, and we can close it. And now we reopen our project without saving, and that will refresh. We saved right before the JSON file, and now we save the JSON file, so it updates the values that we just had. So if I turn the music back on, magically, all of the bars are now tracking the individual sound channels. So that's pretty much it. As far as bars go, they're simple. It's just the one setting. And now actually, if I apply this wallpaper, we can close out of these. And this is our wallpaper. So I turn on some music. We have bars. We can change the alpha of the bars. If we wanted to put a picture behind them, we can do that. We can change the bar color because we set that up. All of these settings copy over because we duplicated all of the bars, so they all share this setting. You could come in here if you wanted to and change the X scale to something like 0.8 or 0.5 to make narrower bars. I haven't found a way yet to do this quickly or set up a property to do this to all bars, so that's still something I haven't figured out yet. But now, yeah, we have bars. You can reposition them and put them anywhere. You can make circles. You can put them on the side. You can even, if you come in here and add a full screen layer, you need to position our frame correctly because full screen layers are kind of weird. I'm going to add a reflection. And then in the opacity mask, paint white on the top. Now we have a reflection. You don't necessarily have to do this, but I don't know. Oh, I don't know why that did that. Anyways, that's basic audio visualization for a scene type wallpaper so that you can add these into your basic projects. There's a lot of things you can't do with the scene editor, like good example. You've seen examples of circular visualizers that go crazy. I don't know how to do that in the scene editor. You might be able to. A lot of that stuff is done with HTML and done via like a web page. But this is a good starting point for anyone who wants to add a scene audio visualizer.